You guys are going to have to go out and play ball with me. No, you can't be scared of the ball. Okay. I'm going to see. I'm going to share this. There we go. If it plays, and see how well this microphone works. I've got to get ready. I need to go out and paint. So I'm changing my clothes, and I'm in a whole different room. I want to see how well this microphone works. See, I could put this microphone on a clip. I'm back in this room. I don't know if you could hear me while I was talking, but if you could, I'd like to know. I was just talking about being in another room. So, let's see. I actually want to change my shirt because, well, you know what? Matter of fact, it's a bit hot out here in these parts. I got a couple of stained shirts. I'm always going to get paint on myself. So let's see how this works. I don't know how well this works or if it's even working. But this will let me know. It sucks that the replays don't work. All right. Yeah, it sucks that the replays don't work. I don't even know if I'm being heard. But, shit. I need to pull my hair back and get it out of my face. But, all right, I don't know if this thing is working. And I'll find out. Oh, they stole 40-something minutes of my video, by the way, yesterday. So that's why I was like, oh, I'm thrown off now in the video because all of a sudden I looked at the screen and it said something on the screen that wasn't like a normal prompt. And I'm like, has this thing been playing? And it's like reconnecting. I'm like, huh, has this thing even, oh, it was, I know what it was. The normal prompt on it that counts the time in the video was, can you guys hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? I mean, see, I was like, are you guys able to hear me? Oh, could you hear me when I was in the other room like this? Hold on. So can you hear me in this? Because I'm way in a different room. So I want to see if you guys can hear me. If you can hear me, someone type pretty in the comments. Even though we know I ain't pretty. Okay. Cool. But I want to know that you heard me. And while I was in there, I said something. I said, well, you'll type this in the comments. So I want to know if you know the word that I said you'd type in the comments if you heard me. Right on. So You must have changed your um Facebook name. I mean YouTube name. My bad. My bad. Because this is you got your cat's name. Watch this. Hold on. She must have had an itch or something. She's so cute. This little girl gets so dirty. You want to go out? You got an itch, don't you? Where's it at? Where's it at? Right here? So you could hear me pretty good like that when I just, like, is it loud and clear? And, oh, what is that? Oh, what is that? What is that? Uh-oh. I felt something on you. Where's it at? It was just right here. I just felt something on you. Crap. Well, that really sucks, y'all. I just felt something on her back end. She acts like she's itching. And so, of course, you want to check your babies. And, is that it? No, that's not it. Where'd it go? And now I can't find it. I have no idea what it is. I better, probably some sand fleas out here or something, even though she didn't have no fleas. Anyways, very clear. All right, that's cool. Because, and I want to do this. I'm going to go ahead and I got to get ready to go out and paint because I'm getting this spot ready for a friend. And so I got to paint. I started painting the other day. You see the wall, you'll be like, are you okay? Because I started painting. I can't, my spinal stenosis keeps me. Oh, wait. So while I got you here, before I even do that, so this thing, they stole 40 minutes of a video yesterday. Hold on, let me get, yep, I sure did. I had another copy of it over here, and I'll show you what I read. I'm going to show you how much I read yesterday. And the timer on the video, I looked at it and it was like 2:03 is what it said. I was like, 2:03? I've been on the video for like 40 minutes. And so that didn't make sense, right? Didn't make sense at all. So I read this much. This, which is, let's see, how many pages is that? I got to count them, I guess. Maybe. Okay, let's see. So it was only 12 pages, but it still was 12 pages. And when I looked at the video, like right now, it says live 8:48, 8:49, 8:50, And I looked at it and it was like 2:03. And I was like, 2:03? I've been on here for like 35, 45 minutes. What's going on? Right? Well, when I ended it, it said that I had been on there for like 47 minutes or 45 minutes and 47 seconds. I think it was 47 minutes and like 52 seconds or somewhere in that arena. I don't want to be a liar. I could be incorrect. My memory's not been the greatest on little matters. Anyways, so I was like, well, maybe that'll upload. Oh, and then whenever I do a live, this is default. I've tried to change this. I save it to public, but when it goes to do the live recaption, it says processing video, and then in the processing video part, 40 minutes, not even 40, it was about 40 minutes exactly, were completely gone from the video. They do not want anyone to read this. So, anyways, I thought, you know what? Before I run out and paint, let's. I got to a part yesterday that actually is pretty good, but I'm gonna spell some things out because of the ALGO and everything. But I want to encourage you guys to get this. So to just for posterity, or I don't know, I might not even be using the correct word, but I want to encourage y'all to go download it. It is free. I spent a lot of time on this thing. A lot of time on this thing. This thing was this okay. And I should have printed it a little better where this paper wasn't. I could have utilized the paper properly, but I didn't. Okay. So, anyways, and hold on. Are you still with me, or because it shows me you're not with me anymore? So, yeah, it shows me you're gone right now. All right. Let's see. Where was? Okay, I'll go on to say, I'm just going to read an excerpt before I go out and paint. It says a screenshot from the cipher shows it is line item after line item. Okay, cool. It just didn't show you were here, but anyways. All right, so I don't want to lose my spot on this, so I better do this right. Okay, so then you see, and there's a little illustrative picture. And yes, she said, yes, I'm still here. I'm here. And can you see my messages? And all three of them just came in right now. And I didn't see Pretty Doggy or that's right. I remember you had to do that. Okay. And Texas cute, by the way. All right, so I'm just gonna read an excerpt, not very long, and I'm gonna have to spell some things out because somebody doesn't want me using certain words, But I can help you to see them. Anyways, I won't worry too much, but it says there is a clear objective to DON's vast directions. Once you put all the line items together, you can find the goal, or I should say goals. All any one of us would have to do is put together key terms to see all the processes used to transmit data, keep it safe, who is hosting the data storing, who is making investments or where your investments should go, and engineering and research developments into the next phase of advancements. As I said, it's compacted with lots of information. Every little question about where we are going, what will be in the news, and even locations to BOMB with NUCLEAR explosives or DOs. It is all listed in the cryptic puzzle of the cipher. The line items are nothing more, nothing less than a bunch of line items that mean nothing more than their dictionary meaning, up until you place it alongside 100 other key terms. Then there's a picture. There is also understanding specifics to understand the whole. First, there is so much to understand. I just can't share it all, not in this writing. Otherwise, I wouldn't get this done anytime soon. I also think it is important to build on what I know as I learn it. I mostly want to share how I came to learn. You draw your own conclusions. If you wish to learn more, you can always follow my later work, and which I should go back in and actually fix that because they make that impossible. I really can't touch, even when I go into my website builder to try to do anything in the website, it gets screwed up. It gets worse and worse. They know I'm there and they're like, start, get active, make sure so I'm just like, okay, so it is what it is. I'm gonna have to go back in and actually fix that. But I said, do your own research on everything. As I told you, I am not a teacher, but there is, hold on. This is really where I really wanted to go. But this was kind of like a backstory so you understood why I was going into this. Actually, I'll just read it. It says, do your own research on everything. As I told you, I'm not a teacher. And remember, this started, I just began reading on page like 14. So there was a lot said before then. Um, I'm not a teacher. I know an awesome one that'll direct you to. And then I said, when I researched all this stuff, I found a strange anomaly that appears to be a normal scenario of differing professional opinions. One group of the people has this theory, that group has another. They never say the same thing across the board. This wouldn't be strange if it weren't for the topics this anomaly is found in, nor would it be strange if there weren't a few reasons around those topics to hide something. Learning about this should be interesting because I'm going to try and explain it. Also, if you view this as a PDF, you can interact with it. I've put so much information in this writing. If you decide to investigate the things I've said, you will want to look at the resource section. The links in the writing and the key terms included at the end. You won't need to put this down and go find it on your own. I had to come back and include this. They kept destroying this work, so all the links aren't linked in the sentences. However, they're found at the bottom. This isn't my doing. With as much time as it took me to get this together, every time I get on the internet to fix the problem, they destroy it again. So, I appreciate each and every one of you. I pray whatever it is that you're enduring, you find peace, grace, joy, and wisdom by the love and peaceable presence of the King of Glory. I also hope for this to make your interesting and informative read list, which prompts you to gift me your share to a friend. Oh, one last thing. Most all of what I'm going to be explaining to you, the way I will is because of the line items itself and the fight I had to get this stuff down on this paper. I'll do a follow-up video, and I actually did. I did do a follow-up video. I did two of them on TikTok. I said I'll do a follow-up video and present evidence that someone doesn't want me talking about this stuff. And they're powerful enough to hack my devices even when I'm not on the internet. How they're able to do this should be made clear by the time I'm done explaining what I've been shown through Dawn's directions. I go on with purple and blue lights. Are they in your city? There's a set of purple lights that have been put up in multiple places across the U.S. The newspapers are saying it's because the manufacturers had some defects. Here are a few articles. I keep getting tongue tied. Here are a few articles to ensure you know what I'm talking about. Lincoln, Nebraska says more purple street lights are going to be replaced. They're not going to cost the city anything because the bill is covered by the manufacturer of the LED lights. So the people shouldn't worry about anything. They say they first detected there was a problem in March of 2020. In fact, this is when the first reports of the lights being defective first appeared around the US. It's supposedly due to the phosphor coating comes off or delaminates and creates the purplish color. People are noticing these in multiple places around the United States. They've been questioning, why are there LED lights appearing blue and purple installed? According to Bruce Owens, a Manitoba Hydro Media Relations officer, notes, this is a problem in Europe and all throughout the USA. Residents are curious about purple streetlights in Billings, Montana. John Hagstrom told KURL local news, I have no idea why they're turning purple. Maybe it's divine intervention, but they're there, and it's definitely interesting. In Vancouver, more than 100 blue or purple streetlights have been reported to the city. In this linked article, you are introduced to the downtown intersection of Davie and Richard Street, which shows the contrast between the indigo lights and the traditional orange street light. I could go on for the next few pages about these purple lights. There are hundreds of articles on the matter from city to city, but you get the picture, right? It's simple. Purple lights are popping up all over the US and they say it is a manufacturer's defect. You need not worry about them. They say they will be rectified as soon as possible. This is a lie from the pits of hell and I aim to prove it. And I wanted to read this too because there are errors in it. And so I got to point my grammatical errors out to myself. And I'm almost done. I'm just going to read a little bit more because it gets interesting. I was actually surprised myself. Okay. If you aren't clear on how large in scope the purple and blue light situation is, do a search for purple lights. You will see cities all over are claiming a manufacturer defect and say they will be replaced with normal lights soon. You wouldn't think anyone would be lying to you about those either. The problem I have, this isn't the truth. The first reason it appeared to be a lie so happens to stem from DON's directions. DON says they were installed for multiple reasons. The biggest and most important reason relates to the advanced artificial intelligence network in our bodies. This ties into a system of systems connected to AIRBUS, which so happens to be in the following markets: defense, security, maritime, agricultural, forestry and environment, land administration and mapping, excuse me, oil, gas, mining and energy, aviation, civil engineering and infrastructures, insurance, finance and banking, mobility and transportation. What a large array of markets to distribute lights to. Good for the distributors, not so good for someone wanting a simple explanation. Or, as you should already know from my introduction and my expounding on the list, each system has a plethora of attributes that make for an extensive amount of information. Okay, so if I were to outright tell you what I thought the blue and purple lights were for, I'd say they're using them to change the human genome, or at the very least, to control it. Within the cipher, there's a list of line items giving me the vibe of these lights have been installed for local linear properties, applicable to genomic takeover, change, and control. But for anyone who has never heard of that, the only logical thing to say is, what the heck does that even mean? Then there's also the fact me. To just say this is general. It appears to be speculation without a cause and wild conjecture from a conspiratorial citizen who has absolutely no evidence that these lights play any part in that at all. Heck, most people, including myself, have no clue what local linear properties means in the first place. So they'd have to study just to understand that in and of itself. The blue and purple lights relate to each and every aspect of the list I've outlined above. How just varies from one industry to the next. Explaining it isn't that easy. So I'm going to explain it in the most unconventional way. Blue and purple lights are used in, and that reminds me, hold on a second. There's a sentence missing out of this, and I know it because I mentioned the fact that the blue and the purple lights, but I only had the because they interact, they correlate. There's right here. Didn't explain blue and purple. I had it, but like I told you, somebody fought me. What is that noise? Okay, I have water on y'all. I'm losing my mind. No, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus, but I have been forgetful a lot lately. I'm like, what is that noise? It's freaking water. Okay, so that I got that in there too. All right. And I'm going to sum this up. But blue and purple lights are used in civil engineering, and infrastructures use blue or purple lights for a plethora of reasons, such as accident prevention, mood lighting, completing a job task with the ability to see, to illuminate an emergency egress system, and they can be part of a security system. How they are used all depends on the need. In mining, different blue, red, yellow lighting would be used to illuminate certain places. Blue lights in aviation are normally used for information only. DFW Airport installed $9 million worth of blue light air system to zap germs and viruses. As I just said, to understand why the blue and purple lights were found in street lights, we must cover a lot of information. Once we have most of it covered, we should easily be able to formulate a more accurate reasoning that makes much more sense than faulty street lamps that keep being installed even after they knew they were faulty and had yet to be replaced in many areas. What is purple UV light used for? Purple LEDs are ultraviolet and they can be used to create a black light effect. Though you can make a brighter purple by mixing red and blue on the RGB LED, it won't have the same effect as the ultraviolet lights used in counterfeit bill detectors and for revealing security holograms on credit cards and driver's license, which are not seen with the naked eye. Purple light can help you fall asleep on top of reducing emotional and mental stress. The nervous system and eyes are linked with this secondary color. Purple light skin therapy ends acne causing bacteria while reducing facial inflammation and the appearance of acne related scars. It is therefore highly recommended for people with acne and redness. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I actually go into detail in some sense. Well, like I told you, I fought someone to get this out, and so I had been very scared to get in it and read it. That's why I wanted to do a reading, because I do want to go back and fix these. I don't know how I'm gonna do it with these guys, but maybe I'll visit the library and one day and slide in, like do all my things here and know which page it's on and slide in there and hurry up and get it done and come out so it's error free. But it is what it is. I mean, these I know what I got my hands on. I know it. I know. Anyhow, all right. So we'll finish up. Um, is purple light harmful? Too much violet light can sunburn your eyes and your skin and cause cancers. The eyes are made to withstand most UV light rays, but are not equipped to withstand blue light rays. Did you know the amount of time people spend in front of devices at close range is what damages eye health? Purple LED lights aren't really purple, but rather red and blue combined. Studies show blue lights interrupt our circadian rhythm, affecting sleep by suppressing melatonin production, Miser says. Blue lights contribute to migraines and visual fatigue, too. Purple light can help you fall asleep. It also reduces emotional and mental stress. The nervous system and eyes are linked with the secondary color. Contrary to red light, purple light decreases sexual desires. See right there. This was the problem I was having the entire time. I was writing this out. I shit you not. This is how I noticed it. I got to the end, and how it got screwed up in the first place was my grandson passed away. And I left my computer with a hard drive in it. And it was about 12 hours later, I come back and I was like, oh shit. I remembered I had my drive in there. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I go into it, and sure enough, it's got repeating paragraphs, and it was a nightmare. It took me almost 6 months. I shit you not. It took me almost 6 months to put this thing back together. And I wrote it in there too. I was like, I'm putting it out anyways, because I don't care the errors. I don't care. I do care. I do care because this work reflects me. But I mean, in terms of trying to make it so that I don't get it out, oh, no, 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 no. No, no. Y'all ain't winning like that. Anyhow, so yes, this needs omitted because that is on the other page on here twice. All right. Okay. And let me hurry up and get finished here. But ultraviolet light is a type of electromagnetic radiation. UV light has a shorter wavelength than visible light. Purple and violet light have shorter wavelengths than other colors of light. And ultraviolet has even shorter waves than violet does. So ultraviolet is is sort of purpler than purple light or beyond violet light. UV has a higher frequency and shorter wavelength than visible light, and it has a lower frequency and longer wavelength than X radiation. So, what is the frequency of UV rays? Ultraviolet radiation oscillates at rates between about 800 terahertz and 30,000 terahertz. When we talk about visible light, we refer to the different wavelengths of light across the visible spectrum by the names of colors. Just as wavelength and frequency are related to light, they are also related to energy. The shorter the wavelengths, and higher the frequency corresponds with greater energy. So the longer the wavelengths and lower the frequency result in lower energy. Light with long wavelengths, such as light with a low color temperature and red light, had little influence on the human biological rhythms. One, on the other hand, green and blue light of mid short wavelength, such as light with a high color temperature, had a greater influence. You could stare at your phone all evening and be kept from sleeping because the blue screen can prohibit melatonin production. According to ZN Science author, purple is not the same as violet, how people tend to treat them as interchangeable terms. Might I know, the two do look very similar. On close inspection, purple is more reddish, while violet is more bluish. What we perceive as violet is quite handedly the bit of visible spectrum right next to that of UV rays. You can look at the chart on ZN Science, which is a good read, to get a deeper understanding. If you're viewing this in its PDF format, you can interact by right-clicking the link and hitting open in another window. Remember, I told you in a previous paragraph that, yeah, you'd be able to, it was interacting, you could interact with it. And oh man, I had hundreds of links. I shit you not, I wouldn't be surprised if I didn't have anywhere between the range of 400 to 600 links linked. When they messed it up, oh man, I was like, what? What? I thought I was so careful, but like I said, my grandson passed away and it threw me for a loop. When I left my hard drive in the computer, I was like, man, you know what? The devil really, he's really working overtime to make sure I can't get this out. I was like, forget it. Repeat paragraphs and everything. I know people don't think I'm stupid and crazy and all this other stuff, but I'm putting it out any damn ways. I don't care. Okay? That's literally how I was. It was just like, and trust me, I've been stressed out over it. I have. I'm not going to lie. I laughed so hard the other day because Ben from Ben and Jerry's got arrested. I don't even know Ben. Why was I laughing? Why? But I laughed so hard the other day, and I was like, you know what? I needed that laugh. I used to laugh when I was a little girl. I used to laugh so much they would kick me out of class and everything. I'd start laughing, and I wouldn't be able to stop. Like just laughing so hard, and I could not stop laughing. They'd be like, "You got to get out of the classroom," and they're like, "You got to stop." I'm like, I can't stop." I would giggle and giggle, and a girlfriend of mine, she bought me a sweater for my birthday one time. It was Melissa Daniels. She bought me a sweater that said um, "Giggles," and it had spray. It was in an artist had graffiti sprayed it on the shirt, so it was specialized for me. It was really cool. It was really cool. But anyways, okay. So I'll read a couple more paragraphs and then I will silence myself. Okay, I'm itchy. Um. So yeah, to get that deeper understanding, click the link. Well, that's crap too. So I said interact and learn along the way. So if you are on PDF viewing, go read this webpage now, and it had a link. You can actually see. Matter of fact, hold on. You could actually see where it was underlined. These would be blue, like there. That one was, and it's underlined. But when all this, see, you could see these are. So these would still be linked, but not all of the ones that are outlined with all the articles are linked anymore, which really sucks because I put a lot of work into that. And so you can see just this page alone, that's one, that's two, that's three, that's four, five links. Five links on one page. That doesn't even can't work. But anyways, so interact and learn along the way. So if you are on PDF viewing, okay, yeah, we'll go further. What is the blue light on the street lights? Let me fix this actually. I'll just go back in here. Um, What is the blue light on street lights? In the Star Tribune, an article published states, wait a minute. Oh no. Is this? Oh, that's something to look at. Hold on. Let me do this. So I have a note. I want it to be here so I can remember exactly where I'm at. 'Cause I gotta go paint. But remember, I was reading this for editing purposes too, and to promote it, let people know. Like, I wasn't joking when I wrote this, and I realized there are errors. I know what the errors. I know. Gosh. Okay. Anyways. Okay. In the Star Tribune, an article published states a proposal by Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry for $9 million in lighting upgrades to improve public safety has prompted a community discussion, with many hoping for brighter streets, but others worrying about light pollution. In the article, the writer details how LED lighting is bad for human health as well as other vertebrate and mammals like birds, cattle, and so forth. And people wonder why all these animals are just flying out of the sky, the birds. All right. Blue lighting effects. It is well documented that blue light can have a negative impact on your melatonin levels. Exposure to green and purple light can also potentially hinder your ability to fall asleep. On another very relative note, researchers have reported sleep problems have surged since the pandemic began. 2 in every 3 Americans are reporting sleeping issues, says the American Psychology Association. Shall I remind you that people also began working out of their home more often during this time, and this would have increased the time Americans spent in front of their computer screen. This lack of sleep people is experiencing during REM sleep stages is said to be a foreshadowing event tied to neurodegenerative diseases such as Parkinson's and dementia. So then asking, would blue and purple lighting influence our health? Yeah, I'm sorry. So then asking, would blue and purple lighting influence our health would be a wise question. When you ask these things in a browser search, this is what I pulled up. The Family Handyman says, light has profound effects on our health and mood. We light our homes to create feelings of warmth and use lamps to combat depression. Movies and video games even have warnings about lights and seizures. Lighting and our brains have a deep relationship. The linked article goes on to tell us how purple lights really are not purple, they are blue. The article tells us about the Christmas lights causing people problems because, as I just said, some lighting can affect our sleep patterns. And because some lighting can affect our sleep patterns, and there is a rise in sleep problems throughout the US, how come newscasters aren't reporting if the street lights are a contributing factor? Do you attribute that to being, hold on, do you attribute that to it being proof these two are not related? If it were, and it is, sorry, do you think demographics would show where these people are at in the USA struggling for sleep? Hold on, there we go. All right, sorry about that. If it were, and it is, do you think demographics would show where these people are at in the USA struggling for sleep? I know they can. In fact, this is exactly what corporate America would consider a fundamental aspect to their medically terroristic framework that's intricately planned out and intrinsically installed in the areas expected to remain after the big event. And we'll get to that after a bit. First, did you notice it is stated purple lights are blue? Well, if you get into reading all the linked articles, you will see one says that purple light doesn't affect our sleeping patterns, while the other says blue lights do. If blue light causes issues sleeping, why doesn't purple? Theoretically speaking, it's because it's different wavelengths. To find the scientific evidence to get an answer to this question and other very relative ones would take time and lots of study. There would be a substantial amount of evidence compiled if we were going to answer in a way that does not contradict science. But shouldn't this data already exist for us? Shouldn't I be able to research these topics and not have differing opinions from different scientists? Why would scientists have any differing opinions when it comes to how light affects the human body? Let's look at a bunch of different line items that are related to blue lights from the cipher. Con- Conventional electromagnetic. A simple electromagnet consisting of a coil of wire wrapped around an iron core. A core of ferromagnetic material like iron serves to increase the magnetic field created. The strength of magnetic field generated is proportional to the amount of current through the winding. Using iron, which so happens to be a climate change topic because of the CO2 emissions, electromagnetic magnets are used primarily to move things and store information. Electromagnetic wave systems. According to Britannica, the entire electromagnetic spectrum from the lowest to the highest frequency, longest to shortest wavelength, includes all radio waves. A example would be commercial radio and television, microwaves, radar, infrared radiation, visible light, ultraviolet radiation, X-rays, and gamma rays. Nearly all frequencies and wavelengths can and is being used for spectroscopy. Electromagnetic wave systems are advanced. There are a great deal of science and medical journals regarding DNA waves and their applications in biology, which is in an area called genomics. DNA is formed by the joining of quantum particles like electrons and charged atoms. Researchers developed radiogenetics, which is a division of radiobiology dealing with genetic systems. This system uses a low frequency signal or magnetic field to activate ferritin particles. This is much more advanced than the normal signal produced after turning into a specific wavelength or frequency, where the radio receives the electromagnetic wave and converts it into mechanical vibrations in the speaker. Extremely low frequency, ELF, an analyst causes electromagnetic field cause DNA strand breaks in normal cells. An analysis of 100 hertz and 5.6 mt, I don't know what that means, electromagnetic fields continuously and discontinuously. I know that it's a wavelength, but and not a measured wavelength, but I don't know what mt means, the measured wavelength. I have no idea, so forgive me for that one. Continuously and discontinuously on the DNA integrity of Vero cells assessed by alkaline Comet assay and by cell cycle analysis. 45 minutes of electromagnetic fields in the sighted range on the Vero cells show damage. And then I put the PubMed article, wouldn't extremely low frequency come out of mobile phones? Vector wave physics is a wave vector or wave vector. It's a vector used in describing a wave. It has a magnitude and a direction. It is always perpendicular to wave fronts. A closely related vector is the angular wave vector. It is common in several fields of physics to refer to the angular wave vector simply as the wave vector, in contrast to, for example, crystallography. It's not just useful there, though. Within the past 5 years, the gene therapy field has seen a wave of drugs based on viral vectors that have gained regulatory approval that come in a variety of designs and purposes. Gene therapy occurs at the viral vector platform. Thermo Fisher Scientific provides high quality lentiviral vectors for gene therapy. Now, just so you know, the first 13 pages that I read went into detail onto why there was yellow, bolded, highlighted terms. It was, so that I only had to explain that once, and then you would be able to see that there is a list here, and these highlighted and bolded terms are found directly in the cipher, and they come together. As I said earlier, there is a picture that has been painted once you put all of these things together. And if you're anything like me, I'm analytical, so you start connecting the dots. You're like, oh wait, that would connect to that, and that would connect to that. Now, of course, I'm walking you through those thoughts in this book, but I keep going and I keep going and I keep going. I connect every dot. Well, maybe not. Maybe not every dot. Maybe not every day. maybe I'm exaggerating right there, because I can't. I mean, in this field, yeah. I mean, I would say I did in this field. The one that I'm talking about that's related to the blue and purple lights and the body. Uh-huh. But yeah, somebody done want that up because again, um, I was on here 45 minutes last night. Has it stayed on the entire time, or has it been buffering, or what was that like reading today? Because I know I spelled a few of the words out. Maybe that helps, but I'm pretty sure they got me flagged talking about any dons in the world. I bet the moment that this voice says Don, they're like, fine, on it, get on it, don't let her talk. So I'm gonna go paint. Um, but yeah, let me know what's on your mind here. Like, what are you thinking about it? Did it was how many pages did we read right then? Mm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. Yeah. So you notice here that I did say, hey, like blue and purple, what you just said there in your comment. I went through all of those details, and it may seem like I'm going around, but I felt like anyway, some of this stuff, I'm a dummy. You know what I mean? It's like, please explain it to me like I'm a 2-year-old. And the only reason why I knew, I've been a target. You just learn that type of stuff. And look, let me show y'all something really cool. Watch this. Let me get let's see. I'm gonna go out and paint, but so this thing I had got when I got that RV, when I had to rehab that RV I got, and it I'm gonna let this search. This is what you'll hear coming out of this is that exactly. It's just in another format. Because if you're deaf, you can't hear, you can do sign language. Like you got a way to communicate. You can read lips. It's not, you know what I mean? And so they found ways to communicate with one another. And on the secret stuff, you know what I mean? Like they ain't gonna walk around talking to each other like, yo, homie, you wanna buy you a little, you know, because that's what they're doing. I mean, let's just keep it real. That's one of the many things they're doing. You know, they have no heart. They don't have no soul. They don't care about nobody. They're out here sacrificing and to Molech, and they're in horribly, horribly disgusting. You know, how do I want to say? Because let's keep it real. It's a lot of uh, sacrifice of their own kids. Having their children reproduce and stuff like that by them. It's a sick world. It is. It's just a sick world, and Satan has his mind, heart on those things. That's his. That's what he does. He's evil like that. So just hurt the children, go after them. That's what they're doing anyways. And so we gotta constantly pray for our children in the U.S. that they're protected. They need a supernatural. We should, as people, that's one thing. Children are helpless. They're helpless. We see something, we gotta say something, we gotta do something. Can't just let this stuff happen. Shove him back underground. You don't want him in our neighborhoods. Oh, okay, so it did buffer. Well, I tried. So I gotta go paint, and so I'm gonna get ready. I'll show you what I did. I started painting and my arms started hurting. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't. I just can't. You can't even see nothing. I gotta remember where the buttons are. Here. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go in here and do the paint, but don't laugh at me because my arm, this spinal stenosis, I told him, I was like, you guys are gonna have to help me with this. I wasn't volunteering for this job, but you can't be picky when when you need help. So I started painting, and when I got to the top, right in there, see, my neck started hurting so bad. See, I was like, oh no, I even tried to get up here and stand on the counter. It was like I had the ladder, everything. And I messed my back up, y'all. It was pretty bad. And it hurt. It was hurting big time. So, oh, there we go. You hear it? See? See? I had to have one, It's like this. Because, I mean, I bet sometimes some of that, I'm going to have to learn what my name sounds like in that, so that just in case it ever goes across that, I'll know. Oh, shit. Because that's what's going on in the world, And I know what's up. I know they watch me and send people everywhere, and it's it is what it is. I wonder if my thing will work. Um, my microphone will work this far away from there. I wonder. Let's see. We're gonna find out. Because I'm kind of a distance right now from that. So, anyways, I truly appreciate you coming in and hanging out with me and sharing your baby with me today. I miss one of my buddies. I get online. I'm like, I always normally see him, and he hasn't been around in a while. So I'm hoping that he's okay. And dang, what the heck? Listen, something. Did that stay on? Did you hear me when I was in the inside of? I went away from my device. I laid it down for a second, and I wanted to test it, see how it worked. I'm actually kind of dreading getting in here and painting because my arm above my head, it hurts. But I got to line the wall, and then that little section at the top, I asked the homeowner, was like, if I start hurting a little bit, will you do it? I need help because my arm is really bad. Look at my honeydew melon I got growing. It's exciting. All right. Okay. Speech to text. Change my words in that last message. What it actually said was it buffered just once. but I've been with you the whole time. Oh, cool. There. I was like thinking I wasn't very clear on exactly what you had said there. So, yeah, that's nice. Ouch. Man, out here. Oh my God. These things aren't no joke. You get in your foot so easy. Well, you can burn yourself. All right. Well, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. I had to smoke real quick. Um, I'm still fighting that. But hey, yeah. See how I got up there and was like, oh no, oh no. So I tried. I had gotten over here. I was like, okay, I'll just do it that way. But that whole motion on my arm, I was like, oh no. See, I can pain till about right here, right here. No, about right here, and it won't bother me. But once I lift my arm up just about this much, and I do it for like longer than 3 seconds, all of a sudden it starts tightening up. And I tell you what, I got. It says it's reconnecting, but right here it hurts really bad. I mean, and it radiates. It hurts right in here. When I got spinal stenosis, this disc, this thing is gone, and it comes all the way down right here, all the way down, and my neck is it's serious stuff, Injuries can, I used to think people made excuses when they, oh, my back hurts, blah blah blah, because I used to always, do a lot of stuff, and I'm like, oh, you making excuses? You can do it, haha. You better be careful what you say, because then God will get you, and when God gets you, He'll show you when you're wrong. And I was wrong. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have been like that with people. So, okay, I found the paint. Um, yeah. So, anyways, tell me. I didn't get a read if you said anything about what you thought about the book, like in general. Because really, I don't know. I'm not good. I can't like read that like that. But for what's going on, and I want people to get into it. I want them, even despite the errors and stuff, even with the errors like it is, I want to go back in and fix those. That was the main purpose of me for wanting to come out. And then I thought, you know what? I could use this as an educational piece to allow people to peer into the reality behind this thing. Because I mean, it's got to be worth something. I know what it contains. And the blue and purple lights is just like the start of it. It's not even you see all the it's like that much more, and there's so much in there. And I build on it and build on it and build on it and just keep showing. And I don't know if it interests you or what, but I would like to do that. Get in here and do some excerpts, do some book reading, and create awareness on it, because it is free. You can go download it at my website. You can even email me and I can send it to you. But with as much as they mess with my devices, it's not always wise to get documents from me directly, um, because they could mess with your devices, and I don't want to be responsible for that. Um, so at least the other way, I know at this point, at where we stand now, it's good. And unless something happens, um, then I'll worry about it then. I just don't think it has enough traction. Number one. Okay. Yeah. How did you treat? You said you had the same issue. You had the same issue. I am painting. Let me put this down real quick and actually plug it in. Um, I am painting. It's friends. It's not. It's a friend of mine. Her family needed some help, so they got some. I'm going to get some renters and stuff. I'm just helping them be able to do that while I'm, trying to earn my keep. Because it's rough out here for a girl like me. It is what it is. Um, I don't know what I did with the paint can opener. I'm over here like a chicken with my head cut off. Look there. Don't see it anywhere. And I'll just use this knife. So yeah. Anyways, that's what I'm doing. And hopefully I get all this room done today, and then I'll probably wait 2 days because of my arm problem, and then I'll finish the other room. It's real small. It's not that big, and I just need to. They gotta get some doors installed, so I need to get these halls done properly. See, yeah, so the same thing. That's what I just said. I was like, yeah, I'll get to working. And then I'm like, okay, I gotta stop, And I'm like, I won't touch nothing for like 2 or 3 days. I gotta lay at an angle and everything. Because I'm like, no, no. So yeah, I know your pain. I feel it. It's not a joke. This stuff on your back can be very serious. Very serious. Anyways, all right, I'm gonna end this live so I can pay attention to my. What did you say? Question like 3 times. Let me look. Look. So yeah, you didn't tell me. Maybe it keeps buffering or something, but you didn't get to tell me. How did you feel about that excerpt that I read? I really want to know. I feel like was it boring? Did it captivate you? I'd like to know. But you got my number. You know how to get a hold of me.